Do you remember a superhero named Trackstar? Robert, I would like to make you an offer.
I've never seen anything like Dispatch. Now that may seem dramatic, but the story that lies within this video game may be the most captivating thing in its genre since The Walking Dead. From episode 1, this story has had us all pulled in wanting to see what was going to happen next, and they did it by providing unique character interests. Not just the idea of superheroes, but a focus on how they interact with one another, proposing questions about not just what it means to be a hero, but on who can be a hero.
You are no fucking hero.
And it did all of this while being a condensed story inside a video game, but somehow, some way, it's still one of the best stories told in 2025. So who did you pick, Invisigal or Blonde Blazer? What if I told you that it didn't matter? Because no matter which direction you decided to pull this story into, it was going to give you something compelling regardless. I think the ability of storytelling was Dispatch's strongest asset. Sure, the concept of sending heroes out on missions was pretty unique, but making me care about the story beneath that is the game's biggest achievement.
We make the man mecha again.
It only feels right to start with Mecha Man. What happens when you take away the super from the hero? It's a theme that's outright stated with Robert, but it's also shown through the rest of the characters in the story. Blonde Blazer without the blonde, Chase the Speedster without the speed. But maybe why Robert Robertson is so on the nose is because he never really had any crazy superpowers to begin with. He always has been this guy in a suit who just finds a way to get the job done.
If you're nothing without this suit, then you shouldn't have it.
Robert hits that quote on the nail. What defines a hero? Asking that question in an era where superhero adaptations are seen as fatigued is so meta. The emphasis in this series switches from how strong the hero's powers are to how powerful the hero's human characteristics can make them.
SDN can make you Mecha Man again.
And Blonde Blazer was right. This story is about how Robert Robertson becomes Mecha Man again. The way Robert accomplishes this though isn't by finding his way back in the suit. Robert shows who Mecha Man truly is and always has been by the times he picks the team up off the ground, the times he decided to be a leader. That's the characteristic that makes Mecha Man super. And this is such a Suicide Squad grouped together type of bunch. However, despite being past villains, they all find a way to overcome their past. And that's the brilliance of Dispatch. These aren't perfect people, they're all pretty flawed. It's not without reason though. One of the most human elements is the backstory that's between Chase and Robert.
Yeah, that's totally the f***ing same as my dad never being home.
Robert pulls everything he knows from his dad. And I think making the relationship that he had with his dad both loving and difficult was a great choice. It shows the respect and honor that he has for his dad's legacy, but it also highlights the missed time, the fact that he'll never get his dad back because of what happened in that suit. I think bringing in Chase as a pivotal part of the story is also great. And if we're talking about Chase, I think there was one scene that made it harder for the rest of the show to keep up.
Keep up. No!
When I think about why I love Dispatch, this is a scene that manages to capture all of it. Dispatch is great because of the realism that it has, and maybe not with the idea of superheroes themselves, but more so on the topics that this story brings up.
Robert doesn't need to keep going out there with no powers, putting his life on the line to make up for assholes like you. He doesn't need to be Mecha Man to be a hero.
What does a hero risk when deciding to be heroic? What did Chase risk when he decided to go after Invisigal?
You ever think about why we do what we do? Help people. Put it all on the line for someone who won't ever know your name.
And I'm just gonna outright bluntly say it. I loved this scene. There's no hesitation on Chase's face when he decides to go save her. In fact, he was in a way at peace knowing that he got to run one last time. The details of his trail being traced across the city because he chose to take the long route is something that catches everyone's eye. Ironically, what stands out about this scene to me is the speed at which Chase makes his decision, as if it was never a doubt, never a question on if he would do it. It was just something in his system, like the blood that runs through his veins. And sacrifice, that's heroism. But then there are all types of heroes. Invisigal plays such a unique role through the entirety of the story. No matter what was done in the past, no matter if you were a villain months ago, you can still choose to be a hero today. She may not have super strength or super flight, but what made Invisigal heroic was her ability to overcome her own past, her own insecurities. And I won't lie, I also agree that this show dropped the ball with the ending, but I was sold on this show a long time before that. The journey that this story took us on a week-to-week basis was so unique from anything else that happened this year. I'm not at all surprised to see it get nominated for awards. Hardly any story will be without its flaws, and Dispatch definitely has some of its own. But its ability to captivate an audience and create one of the most anticipated stories over just 4 weeks was fantastic. And it's why I think Dispatch is one of the best stories told in 2025.